Does anybody still like first gear? My students like driving around in first gear when they first start, and they're just like, oh my god, it's so fast. And then when they change into second, they're like, oh, it's completely out of control. It's so cute. Like every time it's like, you know, they put it into second and they're like going for the brake, you know, and it's just, oh, you guys hit me there, man, you hit me there. Anyway, but you have to, it's really weird, right? So with driving, like when you're 6:30 in the morning, by the way, so excuse the face, I'll probably put a filter on it. Don't want to hurt you, I don't want to hurt your mind and your eyes and anyway, yeah, so basically students will be using first, you know, and they'll get used to it, and they're like driving around in first, and then they'll change to second. It's like the most scary thing ever, and then they'll start to build the speed up, and eventually they're building speed, third, fourth, fifth, or whatever, and then most of the time they have problems with going down the gears. Obviously we need to change down like we change up. You increase your speed, you change up. You increase your speed, you change up. 2000 revs is normally your reference point for changing up, by the way, unless you're going up a hill or something like that. But 2000 revs is your magical number for changing to the next gear, and that's every gear, by the way. So first gear, 2000 revs, change to second, then 2000 revs, change to third. In a nutshell, okay? Depends on the situation in front of you, depends on whether there's a hill. We're talking about a flat road, okay? Anyway, but it's the same for coming down the speed. So you would use your brake, and then you change down, and then you'd use your brake, and then you change down, right? So, and that would be block gear changing. So you'd rely on your brake to slow the car down, and then you change down with maybe a third to first or a fourth to second. But the problem is sometimes students will actually feel like it's a difficulty to go back to first gear. And this came up on driving lessons this week. So I had a couple of students needing for me to reteach them how to go into first gear and how to use first gear again. This is so common, and actually I think there's this kind of mind shift that people don't want to go back into first. Sometimes it's almost like that's the baby gear. I don't need first gear anymore. I've evolved and I've moved on, and me and first gear, we fell out. Yeah, we just don't need each other anymore. But you do, you so need first gear. First gear is like the helper. First gear is the detail. First gear is like the detailed brush of an artist's brush set. It's the little one, yeah, and it's so necessary. If an artist has drawn a beautiful picture of somebody's face, he's going to need to go in with the hairlines, okay? It's so important that we go down to first. So things that happened with first gear this week with students is that I needed to teach them to go back down into first, and then look into junctions, and then do them. And they were already in first when we were in these really horrible places, but then first gear was still too fast, okay? Now I've made videos about this before, but if you get yourself moving in first and then you take your feet off everything, then the car's gonna rest at about, depending on your car, 3 to 5 miles an hour, okay? And that is the slowest it can go. You can't go any slower than that without putting your clutch down. So once you've come off everything, you are jailed to 3 to 5 miles an hour. You're jailed to it. Some of the turns that you're going to be doing, 3 to 5 miles an hour is far too fast, okay? So you need to get the clutch down and then use clutch control to enter sharp turns, okay? So if I have taught my student to like drive up the road, take the next road on the left, it's really sharp, they might be in third. They would have to analyze the turn on approach and go, wow, that's really tough, man, that's really sharp. Or they would have to think there's cars all over it, or there's pedestrians or some kind of hazard. It's hard. The junction is hard. It's difficult. I can't use second if it's clear second gear. There's something wrong with it. I need to use first. Now let's just say we broke, we put the clutch down, we've got the balls to slow the person. Jeez, I run out of storage. Where was I? Making too many videos at the moment. Yeah, so they've got the balls to slow the person behind them down. Yeah, so they're coming up to the very sharp turn, speed by braking, clutch down, having the balls to slow the person behind, out of the gear they're in, let's just say it's third, down into first, because it's so sharp. They need the help of the detailed brush to be able to enter the road. They look into the turn and then they come off the brake and then they lift and dip their clutch, lift and dip gently. Knead it if you need to, knead the bread, knead the bread, knead it if you need to, knead it if you want to, for the control to go in. Yeah, I call it the Duplo block. You know, when you've got, like, when you're a little kid, the Duplo blocks, not the Lego, because they're the little ones, the Duplo blocks. You're going to be lifting and dipping your clutch like Duplo blocks at the beginning because you're just learning, and that's totally cool. But then when you become a legend at it, the Duplo blocks will get smaller and then you're going to be starting to interact on a much smaller scale like a Lego block, and you barely feel it. Anyway, so you're going to be like lifting and dipping, excuse me, to go into your sharp turn, right? And that's lovely. But when we are then driving around this new little baby area, like baby as in like slow, lots of parked cars everywhere, if there is more turns in this area, first gear may still be too fast. So let's just say you've got into this little area, you're in first gear, and you're like, right, cool, I'm in the detailed gear, I'm going very, very slowly now. Yeah, that's great. Driving around, you can't change in second because it's proper dodgy in there. And then again, you're asked to turn left or right, but there's parked cars all over this turn, you can't see in. You're still going to have to put your clutch down, because being jailed to 3 to 5 miles an hour is far too fast, far too quick. Yeah, the only way that you can make the car do 1 mile an hour, 2 miles an hour, the driver has to do that. The car's incapable of doing that. The driver needs to do that. So you have to interact with your clutch. You have to knead it if you need to. So you're driving down this little skinny road. You're in first. You're asked to turn left and right again, or there's a T-junction or something. You're going to have to put the clutch down again. So you go off. At this speed, you'd probably go clutch first, to be completely honest. You'd go off the speed, probably clutch down first because you're in first. I know that you normally use your brake first. Gears 2 to 6, you'd use the brake first normally. And then you put your clutch down and then you brake, and then again, knead it if you need to for your new turn, because you need all of that control to go into this horrible little turn, you know. So you have to interact. If at this stage, by the way, you're braking, and the car starts stumbling, yeah, which I've made loads of videos about. If you get that stumble, like the car's gonna like cut out soon, yeah, okay. My doctor student once said, the remedy is put the clutch down. It's like giving the car paracetamol. Love that. Isn't that cool? So the car's like coughing and stumbling. You're using the brake. It's about to stall. It's like, help me, I'm going to die. And then you just put the clutch down. You give it paracetamol and you pat it on the back and you're like, don't worry, mate, it's going to be all right. Have that paracetamol, have that clutch down. And it completely sorts it out. You can do this in like difficult places like crossroads. That's a really common place to stall. So if you're in the middle of a crossroads and like you're braking, you're like, I just want to make the gap, and you've got one car fever, which I've made loads of videos about. If you're coming up and there's only one car coming and you're trying to time it, you're braking, come on, hurry up car, I just want to go behind you, and you're like, just stop, man, just stop, honestly. But if you've got one car fever and you're trying to get behind it and you're braking and the car's like stumbling, just get that clutch down, give it paracetamol. All right, it's a really nice morning, heart rate's up, can't talk anymore, I'm out of breath. All right guys, so I hope this information has helped you today, and I shall see you on the next video.